what? That's one bulbous glass hole. That sucker is huge, which was also my nickname in high school. Welcome once again to Chill Filter, the podcast where we drink whiskey, so you don't have to, but you probably should. You probably are, and that's why we like you. Real quick, I want to say hi, Aunt Lori, just because she recognized my voice when Papa G played the podcast right away. So now she's getting a little shout out. If you want to get shout outs, just hit us up on Instagram. We love talking to you. Had a lot of good conversations this week. If you want to get even more shout outs and more love, hit us up on patreon.com/chillfiltered. And I'm sure, Cole, you got a little bit more to talk about that a little bit later. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, how you doing, Cole?
That, it's funny. That's how a business should be, like short and sweet, like you just did. Lately, I've been like drawing it out too much, or we've been getting distracted, just like I'm getting now. I'm doing well. It's funny. I talked to you very briefly before we recorded, just saying like, I'm tense, man. And I'm like loosening up as we speak. But my 30-minute commute to work in full highway traffic has kind of like, I don't want to like think about it too much, because the more I think about it, the more it happens. And then I continue to think about it. But like, it's stressing me out. Like yesterday I was driving and the guy behind me got rear-ended, and like stuff like that is like, it's just like, and then, like I mentioned, like in February, I got hit. And so it's just like, I don't like the commute, and it's just become stressful for me. And it's like 30 minutes, which isn't too bad. I've seen worse. I've heard worse. But it's very often like, keep your eye on the road, keep your foot half-time on the brake, which is usually what you do when you drive. But just be ready for anything on this. And it's funny, like I've lived in a lot of cities.
You have,
and
more than most.
And I think Richmond is pretty hard in terms of traffic. I'm not saying it's bad traffic. I'm just saying I've seen a lot of bad drivers, or at least worse drivers than other cities. I'm not saying everyone's bad driver, but it scares me sometimes. And these days I'm like, I just want to get home and just chill.
And keep your hands up on the wheel. What song is that?
I don't know. That's not ringing a bell.
Keep your hands on the road, and my hands on the wheel. Oh man,
still not clicking. But I hope Bryce Morita chimes in.
He will. Later. He was all yelling about
social distortion. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which that song was also covered by Real Big Fish. Story of my life.
Who?
Real Big Fish.
Oh, cool. I thought you said Aerobic Fish.
Aerobic Fish.
Yeah, like
it's like the jam band, but they jam longer because they've got their aerobic activity in.
Yeah, like Jazzercise. So yeah, otherwise I'm doing well.
Yeah.
My peppers are not thriving right now. I think I weaned them to the outside a little too quickly, and they got a little stressed out. And you got it. It's called. It's a process that sounds dirty, but it's called hardening off.
We've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there. And it basically is saying,
especially you got to when we're dressed up as a woman on a high school prank.
Yeah, or not a high school prank, a date. And hit me up if you want to know more. But anyway, you're supposed to expose them to the outdoors slowly. And I did it semi-slowly. I didn't do it as slow as I normally do.
Semi-slowly, you're supposed to do it slowly.
So I did about half that.
Oh, man.
And so they're stressed out. They're not growing super quickly right now. And so I know I probably just exposed them to the outdoors too quickly. And so some of them are doing okay, though. I just am bummed that they're not. Like, this is half of me. Like, this is my heart sometimes, is how are my peppers doing? And people who have been longtime listeners know this. And otherwise, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I feel like last week, the 200th episode, was a little bit stressful. Not in the episode, but like
listening
coming up
to it
to
wasn't
it.
as
Yeah.
fun. Editing and listening to him, like we didn't have as much fun as I hoped. It was a
No.
bad New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
There was
And
no one to kiss,
no one to kiss.
metaphorically,
Yeah.
literally.
And literally, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So I hope if someone was like listening to that episode,
and I
they
hope
were
our
like,
love of spirits lifted yours.
see you later next week. Yeah, if people were like, some part of me is like, I wonder who's listening for the first time, because 200 episodes is a big deal. And so someone might just like listen in and be like, let me listen to that big episode that they're talking about on Instagram.
If that's you right now who made it to 201, let us know, because I don't believe anybody goes straight to episode 200.
I would.
Would you?
Unless it's like very like a podcast is very sequential. I listen to the most recent episodes.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
And so I'm saying
you're
like,
right. Yes,
if
you're
someone
right. Like
picks up from the most
week.
recent episode, so
I was
your
thinking in
second
the
episode,
future they come back
from
the future.
Whoa,
to 200.
To 200. To
we
the
gotta
year
get
200.
Back to the future, Marty.
I just hope they listen to episode 201 and they'll be like, this is my guys. You know, these are my people.
Fun.
And shout out to our listeners. Yes. There was a few this week, not only on messages on Instagram, but also like I sent out like, hey, what do you got to say? We're about to record our 200th episode. And some people said some really nice things. I wish we could list it all, but I appreciate that people are continued listeners and are just big fans of our whiskey talk show. So shout out to all you guys who chimed in. We appreciate you.
It is fun. And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It strokes my ego. You done stroked our egos.
Stroked it hard. And
Lego my ego.
I like that. But life's good otherwise. I want to hear how your week is.
You know what? You started off we kind of talk like this, that, the other, make sure we got our ducks in a row. And we're both like, oh gosh, to get home and get ready, it's a little stressful. But right, you know what? Like, what is it? What are we, like 6 minutes, 7 minutes in here?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm limbered up.
And me too. And I've been drinking this cask strength bourbon from Colorado.
Hold that glass up to the camera, because I swear that glass got big. No, hold it back. Hold it next to your head.
Big as my head.
Golly.
Here it is, next to my head. And hear the low pitched chime when I tick it or whatever. Flick it. That's the word you want to use.
Now I'll tell you what, that's one bulbous glass hole. That sucker is huge. Which was also my nickname in high school. Sorry, Zoe.
That's great.
No, I'm all right. I'm feeling like, dude, I still got this lingering cough.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you test yourself for COVID?
I did a lot of at homes, and the at homes can be.
But you also probably tested your children, I'd hope.
Yeah, and
they didn't have it, so
nobody
you're
had
good.
But I am gonna. Well, and that's the thing, I don't know. But I'm like, this cough is lingering forever, so I am gonna try to do like a what is
antibodies?
Like antibody test, just to see, because I'm like, man, like I can't shake this, which doesn't usually happen.
It'd be nice. Like, how would you feel if you did have COVID? Would you be like, sweet, I'm done? Mostly, I mean, you still got this lingering cough.
Well,
but
like, I'd feel kind of bad, because when I was coughing, like I did go into work for a half day because
you talked to me on the podcast. You could have gotten me sick. Yeah.
Did you inhale deeply from your microphone or from your headphones? It had to
basically sucked on the microphone.
But like when I did go to school, I did wear a mask when I had to be at school, where I was like, I knew I was sick, so I did my best to make sure I didn't get somebody else. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be like at this point, and I've had a couple of kids out sick who had similar symptoms this week from when I had last week. And I was like, oh gosh, I hope I didn't get them sick. This is one of those things. But the cool thing is, like, what did the CDC announced? Like, we're in the endemic portion in America.
Yeah,
so
we're no longer pandemic.
You know what? At that point, if we're endemic, I don't feel as guilty.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I saw that CDC was like 60% or so of Americans have had it basically, which I would imagine it would be closer to 75% at these days. But
well, that's the
hey,
thing.
you
Is
haven't
like,
gotten it.
I might have. I don't know.
You might have, but
But and that's the other thing too. Is like, there's a good. I never tested positive, but there's a good chance we had it and didn't know.
Yeah.
But
Which,
anyway,
I mean, I was a statistic of someone who had it. Likely, I mean, I 100% imagine because Beck tested positive, my wife tested positive, and I was like, I'm not even gonna test because I'm sick too. So I'm one of those statistics that wasn't like
registered,
chimed in. Yeah, registered
in the statistical registry.
Yeah, exactly.
Of American pandemics. Oh, look at you suck that bulbous glass hole.
This super bulbous glass hole.
But no, other than so I still got this lingering cough and stuff. Like, I have moved back into my master bedroom. I'm not coughing as much when I sleep, so that's nice. And my wife
Chelsea's
says,
like,
you know what? You didn't
sit on the floor.
You made me laugh a little too hard there.
Nice.
But oh man, yesterday took the twins to kindergarten registry, man. Like, they're gonna be in kindergarten next year, which is just crazy to me. Yeah, and I got to tell the story because I think it's the stinking cutest. So Finley and Juniper at preschool, and Juniper was telling their preschool teacher, Becky Bub, that
I love that as a preschool teacher name.
Mrs. Bub's the best.
Yeah.
She was like, when I was a toddler, I had a really hurt knee. And she goes, a toddler, huh? And she goes, toddler. You know, like when you're a little kid, you're a preschool teacher. You should know these sort of things. Like, that's Juniper.
Juniper said that? That's so funny.
Juniper is like the, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast, but it's like she is twins, where one of the twins gets all the bad characteristics, but it's all like
it's all like Finley's like, toddler, I barely know her.
But Judy is like, she has my inability to kind of keep her mouth shut and smile and grin. Like, I run my mouth.
That's so funny.
And Chelsea's like emotional output of like every emotion kind of comes out as angry.
Yeah. Which is more along the lines of Juniper, as far as I've seen.
That's Judy.
Yeah.
Junie, every emotion comes out as anger, and she wears her heart on her sleeve like her daddy.
Yeah.
And so it's like she just says things, and she's like, "You should know this." So anyway,
that's so funny.
Oh, last thing before, I'm good. I think it's good. Also, have I ever mentioned on the podcast my favorite hot sauce?
It's not Cholula, is it?
It's not Cholula.
Is it
Cholula's okay.
Is it that one sriracha?
No,
I think you have. It's the one you put on eggs all the time.
And what Melinda's?
I forget. It was like a specialized one.
Melinda's. I got it. So you're mentioning your peppers, and I've yet to have your hot sauce. And I assume
you gotta send it on the next courier shipment.
That would be great. But Melinda's, if you can go out and find Melinda's ghost peppers,
nice
wing sauce, ghost pepper wing sauce, it is the best. It's the best balance. You know how some hot sauces have flavor.
Yeah, that's mine.
Some hot sauces are just heat.
It's right in the middle.
This is right. Like, it's the perfect heat. I put it on everything.
Nice.
Except for my Asian dishes. On my Asian dishes, I put a little bit of, I can't remember the name.
Thai chili?
No, they make a truffle sauce. And I put that on there instead with a little bit of soy. I can't remember. And I have a particular soy sauce. I like it too. And it just goes great with Asian dishes. But Melinda's ghost pepper wing hot sauce. It's the best balance. If you like spice and flavor, you got to find it.
So my next hot sauce, I think I made miso, 14-month aged miso. And I think I'm going to see if I can get that in to the actual sauce. Yeah.
How do you make miso?
Fermented bean paste.
How do you make bean paste?
You basically make some beans, like take dried beans, hydrate them.
Wait a minute. Did somebody say beans?
Beans. Let me clarify. Miso, the fermented bean paste, does not compare to Bush's baked beans on the bean can.
Miso bushy. Oh, miso bushy. Original long time.
I can tell this is going to be a great episode. Already. Yeah.
On the flow.
So, but here's the thing, is that maybe we should move on to our next segment, because I do have a lot of history today. This might be the longest history I've ever wrote. It might be. It might not be. but it might be.
Ooh, foreshadowing. Who knows?
Yeah.
Will it or won't it?
Yeah. Come find out after break. Are we ready for break?
My legs need stretching. Let's go for a walk.
Let's go for a walk. We'll be right back. And we're back.
And we're back.
We're back.
Sorry.
That's for sure. We weren't making
man.
tequila jokes that didn't make funny at all. That's
Real
right. I
quick.
said didn't make funny.
Cole said tequila ooh la la, and I said tequila barely knew la. So
That's
let us
true.
know in the comments down below. Hit
Which
that
one's
subscribe
funnier.
button and
Yeah.
smash the bell.
Smash that subscribe bell. Yeah. Anyway, some notes to get to before I talk about the history. I wanted to give a shout out to 2 of our Patreon subscribers for upping their Patreon giving, both within like 2 hours of each other.
Ours, up yours.
Up yours, Patreon people. We love you. And that's a good thing.
Make 7 up
in Chill
yours.
Filtered universe, up yours is the best compliment you can get. Next to what a beautiful wife and family they have, which happens when you're a Patreon subscriber.
If you up your Patreon, we'll bush our baked beans. It's amazing.
We
Twice
call
this
it
week I bushed my baked beans.
Up yours, bush your bake. Yeah. So yeah. So let's talk about. So first of all, I think it was Wednesday. I might be wrong. No, today's one or yesterday was Wednesday. So I think it was Tuesday. We get a notification that one of our greatest, awesomest, beautifulest listeners with a beautiful family, I'm sure.
Oh, this family's so photogenic.
Yeah, super photogenic. Ben
Gorgeous
Klepsig
people
from the Madison area of Wisconsin. I won't tell you his exact address because that would be a privacy.
We're not doxing nobody.
We're not doxing nobody. So, but he's from the area of Madison, Wisconsin, and he upped his giving on Patreon to the Chill Filtered Flask level. So thank you so much, Ben. That actually means a ton to us, and we appreciate it. And then another shout out to Sean Ciaro, our Philadelphia / I think he works in Jersey.
He's
lives
like
in
the
Philly,
best looking
or is
John.
It the other way around. Yeah, what a John!
You do that right.
What a beautiful John, and a beautiful family.
Both of them friggin' ballers.
Darn right. And Sean upped his tier to the Chill Filtered Stemless Glencairn tier. So thank you so much, Sean.
I'm not even that tier. I can't find my friggin'
I should send that with the hot sauce with the curry.
You don't have to. No, because you know what? So many people are like, man, I cannot believe those tequila ooh la la jokes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
must subscribe
at the stemless Glencairn level.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. So, what we're drinking today, we haven't mentioned a single time thus far. We are drinking. Yeah, no, it's all good. They knew what they were signing up for when they clicked the button. So, that's a funny way to put it. We are drinking Barrell Craft Spirits. We are drinking their Seagrass 16-year cask strength rye. Specifically, this one is 130.82 proof. This is our first Barrell Craft Spirits product on the podcast. We did technically do Stellum Rye and Stellum Bourbon for 2 drink-alongs, but they're branded a little differently. Even though they're technically the same company, they're officially, the Barrell Craft Spirits products, but they're not Barrell branded. So anyway, we're going to talk about Barrell Craft Spirits because it is our first time really talking about them. So first of all, it's Barrell with 2 L's. It's not your typical Barrell with 1 L. So I don't know why they did that. Didn't look into it yet. Maybe next time on our next episode. Started by a guy named Joe Beatrice. And it reminds me of this one time I was in college. And we were reading some Italian related play or something like that. And my college professor kept saying Beatrice as Beatrice. And shout out to that professor. Don't know if you were accurate. I'm sure it was accurate in a Italian sense, but I don't know if his name was Joe Beatrice.
So can I digress here? 2 digressions. First is Beatrice always reminds me of Ramona the Pest. Ramona
totally.
Quimby. Yes, her sister Beatrice. Also, saying something wrong in a book that reminds me of that as well. When I first read Harry Potter, it was before the movies, and I saw the name
Harry Potter.
No, Hermione. I pronounced as Hermione.
Hermione. Is
And
that
then the
a
movie
common
came out-
name?
I have no idea, but when the
don't know
movie came out, I was
anyone.
like,
I don't know if anyone is named
"That's
Hermione.
not Hermione. We're calling her
Hermione.
Hermione." And I still I'm sticking to my guns. Hermione.
That's like Penelope is like, that's
Hermione.
Penelope.
Penelope, yeah.
So anyway,
Exactly.
yeah. Or my shout out to my good friend Ryan, who is also an actuary, who named his daughter Persephone. And some people would be like,
Is she so
Persephone.
pretty? Does she stare at herself in a mirror all day long?
Probably. No, you're thinking of a different woman, or probably a different Greek person. Persephone was the wife of Hades.
Well, who?
You're thinking of Narcissus or Narcissus.
Narcissus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Persephone.
It's like Socrates. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, here we go.
So Joe Beatrice in 2013 started Barrell Craft Spirits in Louisville, Kentucky. He started originally back in the day. He started a digital marketing company called Blue Dingo Digital in the 90s, and he did pretty well with it. But in the early 2010s, he decided to move on from digital marketing and all that stuff and start a whiskey company. He was a home brewer, so he knew a little bit of like the craft industry in that way. But he was especially inspired when he had an experience. They don't say where on the website, but he had an experience where he tasted whiskey straight from the barrel and he couldn't go back.
We've all been there.
Yep. When we drink from that barrel, it's that juice is the best juice.
You take the juice straight from that dang bunghole.
Mm-hmm. There's no going back.
Yeah.
So, did he start a distillery?
Yes.
Nope.
No.
You are wrong, Robbie.
Okay.
And he has always been transparent in his sourcing from other distilleries. But he doesn't just source, he goes the extra step and blends what he sources. Really exceptional barrels, it says. And the bottles, he bottles them at cask strength. Pretty much, I think every product from Barrell Craft Spirits is cask strength. Though not all barrel products are blended, he does do some single barrel releases, but most of them seem to be blends. He hired a guy named Trip Stimson, which is a very southern name, if you ask me. And Trip had experience as the master distiller at Kentucky Artisan Distillery. Do you know which products Kentucky Artisan Distillers makes, Robbie?
Soaps, hand soaps.
Hand soaps. No, they make Jefferson's bourbon.
That's what I meant.
And ryes.
Right now.
But he worked there for a while. And then before that, he worked at Brown Forman for 9 years. So their standard product, Barrell Craft Spirits standard product, which is in batches, that is a cask strength bourbon. And at this point, according to their website, they're up to batch 032, the 30-second batch. But they do have some other options, and I wanted to cover them. They don't just do bourbon and rye. They also do American vatted malt, which is a cask strength blend of American single malts. And on their website, you can see where they're all sourced from, or where all the barrels were sourced from. And get this,
is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it is.
Like,
and
if you're gonna source, cite your sources.
Yeah,
APA,
exactly.
bro.
Bibliography, baby. And so which the vatted malt included one of our favorite distilleries, Del Bach from Hamilton Distillers in Tucson, Arizona.
We do love Del Bach. We've been known to love them.
Yeah.
Darn near killed them.
They also darn near killed them. Sorry, Stephen Paul. They have their Armida bourbon. which is finished, which is a bourbon that's finished in pear brandy, Jamaican rum, and Sicilian Amaro casks. I believe
Back in the
Matt
old
Porter
country.
did a really funny. Let's say this: Matt Porter did an episode, and all of his episodes are extremely
Really
funny.
funny.
And I think he had something about like a double decker bike or something on that video that he did on YouTube. So check out the YouTube channel, ADHD Whiskey, if you haven't. Don't leave us in the dust when you love his stuff and don't want to hang out with us anymore. Please just hang out with us still when you're a Matt
Would you
Porter
please hang
ADHD
out
Whiskey
with the
fan.
boys?
Would you just hang out with us?
The boys want to hang out with you.
Would you give the boy a break? What's the phrase?
Let the boy watch your dog.
Anyway, they do something called an infinite barrel project, which this is pretty cool. They finish, it's basically an infinite batch. So they started out as a blend of whiskeys, but for each batch that they bottle, they remove a portion of the large tanked blend and they replace it with more newly selected whiskey from other casks. It's like feeding a sourdough starter or sipping from an infinity bottle and then topping it off when you're done. There's been 18 batches of the Infinity Barrel project so far. So check it out on their website. It's pretty cool.
That
They
sounds
sourced,
awesome.
yeah, it's pretty cool. And I'm surprised no one else thought of that yet in previous years. They sourced edition, the most recent addition they added to the top of that was Indiana bourbon, Indiana rye whiskey, Indiana whiskey finished in Jamaican rum casks, Scotch whiskey, and Irish whiskey. So it sounds like potentially MGP is getting involved, but they also threw in Scotch and Irish, which is super cool. So then there's the standard Seagrass release. It is a rye. According to their website, it says an ode to coastal memories. It's why they call it Seagrass. It is a special finishing process. They use Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels to finish it. It is cask strength, just like we're drinking today. But the one we're drinking today does have an age statement as opposed to the standard release. But one thing to note with the Seagrass release is that a small portion of the proceeds from the sale of any Seagrass bottle will be donated to the Ocean Foundation to contribute to the conservation and restoration of seagrass. Yep.
If that gentleman over there is seagrass.
It's like, I don't know the phrase where it's like, I don't use that word, and I doubt you do.
Kick his butt, like, seagrass.
Yeah. Or like, my butt is seagrass. So we don't have to apologize to Zoe for that one. No. I had to look into this, but Martinique rum is not your typical Caribbean rum. It is also known as a French rum. Does that mean it's from France? Not exactly. French? It could be from a French toast
dressing.
French dressing, yeah.
French bread.
French fries. It is from like French colonized Caribbean nations. But it is also known as French rum that is based on cane sugar juice, and it is known for its earthy, vegetal, grassy, and herbal notes.
Vegetal.
Okay. Totally.
I'll roll with it.
Madeira, on the other hand, if you're not familiar, listener, is a Portuguese fortified wine, similar to like fortified wines like vermouth, sherry, port, and Marsala. I didn't know Marsala was a fortified wine until today.
Did you say sherry?
Sherry butts.
Drive me nuts.
That's right. Anyway, the apricot brandy, on the other hand, can be one of two things. There are two basic like definitions for apricot brandy.
Apricot and apricot.
That's true.
There's the two definitions.
Yep. And enough said. No. The first is like brandy, but brandy is produced from grapes. This is made from apricots and not grapes. So it's like the apricot juice and they distill it. On the other hand,
so brandy can be... Wait, so you just said brandy can be apricot or grapes?
typical brandy is always grapes. Apricot brandy could be just apricot juice that's fermented, or apricot juice that's fermented and then distilled.
Brandy that's made from apricots is still called just brandy?
No. It's called apricot brandy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If it's called just standard brandy, it's grapes. Yeah.
What was the almond flavor comes from apricots sometimes too,
amaretto.
Right?
Yeah.
Amaretto comes from apricots.
Yeah, but that's a liqueur based on just the apricot seeds. On the other hand, if it's not a brandy like grape juice, or it's not apricot juice that's then fermented and then distilled, it would be a liqueur. Apricot brandy could also be a liqueur that is infused with apricot fruit, like the flesh of it and the kernels, which I'm sure probably isn't the case, because basically that the fact that it's been aged in a barrel in this case makes me want to believe that they didn't just have a liqueur aged in a barrel. They actually did a apricot brandy from scratch. So I'm guessing, though. Anyway, what we're drinking today is not just your standard Seagrass release. We're drinking the 16-year Seagrass release, which I believe is the first release that they're doing of it. But it is the same as the non-age statement standard. It is Martinique rum finished, Madeira and apricot brandy barrel finished. But this batch is 130.82 proof. It's pretty up there. Cool bottle. I'll show you guys the bottle for those YouTube watchers.
Whoa. There it is. Focus.
And really cool cork top on this one. It's got, I don't know, like it's like pretty it's not your average cork top.
Other way.
And it's got what I like is it's got a hole in it. You can see the hole. Yeah, it's got a hole in the side. Anyway, it is bottle, as you can see here, bottle 2051. You can't really see it that well, but anyway, total wine price. Mm-hmm. I don't know about Total Wine, but I bought this bottle for $250. I had a little extra for my jewelry income, and I was like, I'm gonna treat myself, because I had just actually tried it at a bar and I loved it. But actually, the funny thing is, I'm not sure if I had the standard Seagrass or the 16-year, so this might be different. But also compared to the standard is $90 a bottle. Like I said, this is $250 a bottle. So let's pour it. Let's give it the old cork pop.
Do the pivoted pop. That was an interesting pop. Put that back in and do that again. I want to hear that again, because that was a little abby normal.
I think this is metal. The top of the cork. It's pretty cool.
Okay, that was more typical. Yeah. But when you put it back in, you get a little bit of that like clang clang.
Clang clang, girl. You know what I'm saying?
No. But nice, I'm with you.
Last week we had basically a 1 ounce pour for our 200th episode. It's nice to go back to 2 ounce pour, at least for Robbie. I have a 750 milliliter pour minus 2 ounces, thanks to the courier. Actually, I'm going to pour a little more. 130.82 proof. Can't come fast enough.
So real quick, who's Fish and Sips again? Is that Sean?
That's Sean Ciaro. Yeah.
Sean Ciaro. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because gosh, if you guys just made your name, put your real name in your Instagram, because I cannot keep track of this stuff. No, I really appreciate it. He's like a little bit of Steve here. I do appreciate him. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No Steve at all.
No.
Which is NSA. No Steve at all. NSAA, I guess.
And NSAA.
The NSAA. No Steve at all. Ooh. Mm-hmm. If we ever get a fan club, NSAA.
It's like the NCAA.
So he was like, "Hey, I need to know more. Like, what do you think about this or that?" And which I really appreciate.
Concerning our last episode with the 100-plus-year-old. Yeah.
I went back. I had my last sip, and it made me like think about it a little bit more, because sometimes like the meandering does get in the way.
Yeah.
But the last one, like, it would be fun to do a blind on, because I was like, it tastes old to me. I don't know if I thought that because it was old and I knew it was old, but anyway, it really called me out and made me go back, have another sip, and I still did not like it.
Mm-hmm. Which is too bad, because and one of the notes that I didn't mention last week that I thought about since is butterscotch.
Yeah.
which I remember talking about the first time I drank it with my friend to break dry January. Nice candy on this. Really
Oh my
nice
gosh.
candy.
This is nothing stands out a ton. But it's
Yeah,
really
besides,
pleasant. It's just nice. It's got a good it is sweet. A little bit of vapor. Not bad. But it is sweet and nice. It's really pleasant. Like throw this in a I really wish I knew what like the perfume like from like cartoons had with like,
oh, totally. Yeah.
But throw in that, spray it on me, I'm good to go.
Right on the
Little
neck.
couple
Right on the
dabs, yeah.
wrist.
Couple dabs. Hope you don't get
And
pulled
right
over.
on
And the
my
cop goes,
cleavage. What?
pull over here. What you got there?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're like, I swear
You're
I
like,
just dabbed some
breathalyze
seagrass
me,
under my.
sir.
Yeah. But no, great nose.
I'm
Very
with you.
pleasant.
There's not many other notes, but there's a hard candy note. The typical aged cask strength rye note. This reminds me of so far Lot 40 cask, first edition. Really nice nose.
And I have no idea because I don't remember stuff like you. So
Nah.
no, really
What if we
pleasant nose.
what if that'd be funny if we like just shuffled our collections? Like it'd be like the courier comes up to you and is like, I'm gonna just hand over, like you send over 2 bottles, I send over 2 bottles, and you're like, oh sweet, I got Lot 40 cask strength third edition this time.
I'll
Even
make
though
out
we
like
didn't like the third edition, we liked the second and first, but
yeah. This is interesting on the palate. It was a little medicinal to start, which is not my favorite note. But towards the back end of it, there's a dull sweetness, a little earthiness, but not like in a bad way. I got to go for my second sip here. I'm going. There you go.
Yeah, you sip that. I'll talk about what I just experienced in my mouth. I took a sip. It was delicious. I had no medicinal taste to it. I at first got that typical rye candy, but then it developed into this. So normally when I think of a rye hard candy, I think of more of like a general, maybe potentially like caramely flavored, but also like maybe toffee flavor. I don't know, like, but some fruitiness. This was. Do you remember those? And they're probably still out there, but those strawberry candies that like
have like
look like
a strawberry with
pineapple
the green
almost.
top. And
Yeah,
it's got the little jelly
exactly. You like
inside.
loosen them, and that's some notes that I got, and also other fruity notes. Like I think the apricot brandy cask is doing a lot on this. Like I am getting a little notes of apricot, not almond flavor or anything like, or even amaretto, but just like apricot flesh, like the really fruity part of it. I'm getting that. I love it. This is full of complexity. I love it.
There's some heat. I'm getting the cask for sure. Gosh. I'm a little frustrated here. I'm a little frustrated because I like went to cleanse my palate a little bit with a LaCroix, which is a bubbly water. I probably should just have club soda.
Yeah,
I need to start.
You get one of those. I have a one of those soda.
A little hot.
It's nice. It is a little hot.
It is hot. I like it though. No, it is complex. Ooh, there is a heat to it.
Are you getting that strawberry note the strawberry candy note that I was talking about?
I can see it. There is like a fruit, like what is orgeat? Orgeat,
or it's technically pronounced orgeat.
Orgeat. What is that made from?
It's almonds. Yeah, and potentially other nuts, but almonds.
So,
yeah.
So I'm
made from.
I'm getting a little more almondy.
I can see that.
Definitely
it's
like
straight up
sweet,
fruity.
bright.
Like, yeah, bright is the word. This is not at all like
but it's also
dull
earthy at the same
sweetness.
time.
I'm with you. There is almost like a grassiness to it.
There is, and I didn't want to say that earlier because it's called Seagrass.
But I'm kind of getting it. Yeah.
Oh,
But
and it tastes like
it
sea.
doesn't taste like seaweed. I'll tell you that. There's no sea taste in this.
There's like, like when we think earthiness, you think it's just kind of like dulled kind of a thing. It's not super bright, but there's a lot going on, which I really like. And my lips, there's the heat to this. You can taste the heat. Like I feel it. Like my lips are a little tingly. My tongue's a little tingly.
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
Honestly, this is one of the best ryes I've ever had.
This is not what I want in a rye, but this is one of the better whiskeys I've had. So I wouldn't say it's one of the best ryes for sure, because I like the cinnamon. I like kind of we got from Lot 40, number 2, whereas like a lot.
And I am getting a little bit of cinnamon too. Go on.
Are you okay?
A little bit. It's not the dominant note at all.
But you've already done your water, right?
Just a little bit, and the water might have improved it. It definitely opened it up and made every little note a little more obvious.
Ooh.
But it is delish.
So
even with a little bit of water.
Water-wise on the nose, I'm getting like a little more of that strawberry, but still like the almond earth. Like, and I think an almond is like a good earthy sweetness, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where this is. It's like a good earthy sweetness.
Yeah, it's like almond extract mixed with almond nut.
Do you know what the best is? When you're eating like raw almonds, every once in a while you'll get like the perfect almond, and you're like, and you just don't. Like I when I eat stuff, I'm like, and shove it in, because that's how I eat.
Totally, me too.
But then you get that one almond, you're like, oh, that's the perfect taste, and that's kind of where this is, where it's like a great earthy sweetness. Because sometimes, because typically earthy is it could be towards the bitter side, the bland side. But
yeah, or like just too dirt like flavor. Yeah.
Would you say tobacco falls in like
it could
in the earthy?
Yeah,
tobacco and leather kind of fall earthy, right?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, okay, because that's kind of where I think when I think earthy, that and dirt. So, but this is, or even like grass that you forgot to empty out of the lawnmower bag. That's earthy.
Totally, that's real. I love it. I think I prefer it neat though. I think I prefer it a little bit neat, because the last sip I had was like just a little bit of like opened it up too much, and I wouldn't call it soapy, but potentially too oaky.
The oak is there. I think I prefer it with a little bit of water. Ooh, it's still hot. Woo!
Yeah.
130 isn't that hot. Ooh,
no, it's hot. I mean, like, how often do you get a 130 pluser? Not often.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, one of our hottest. We've only had two hazmats. Oh crap! I just spilled some. 1 or 2 hazmats on this show, and then the next one down, I think, was Jack Daniel's single barrel rye, the single barrel proof rye. And it was like 133. So it's hard to break 130. It's doable. It's doable.
So far, water's my favorite.
Oh, really? That's cool.
I mean, I think maybe my first sip where I said was more medicinal. Not getting that at all. But there is like an earthiness to it. A little bit like an almondy, earthy, with a little bit of like strawberry sweetness to it. So, ooh, but it is hot.
Yeah. We'll find out what it's like with a little ice in it. I just added some ice, and it weirdly made the glass cooler. Interestingly enough, I'm intrigued to what this will bring out. I'm not getting like any nose from it. A little bit of that candy, but that's barely anything. Fire in the hole.
Nope, I dropped the other.
Oh, rough.
Other part. Let's we got a fire in the hole. The next one. Jeez Louise and cottage cheese.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna sip while you Fire in the
You
hole.
sip. I'm going to talk about how I'm dropping ice cubes in my lap, dropping ice cubes on the floor. Fire in the hole.
I'm not impressed with the ice pour.
Ooh.
I'm not like against. There's a weird bitterness on the finish. I take it back. Not meant for ice. Oh man, it went right down the wrong pipe.
I'm not getting much off the nose.
Yeah, I wasn't either. It was like almost like you could like inhale it and not cough with it, and like even that 130.82 proof, it wasn't rocking your nose, but there's not much there. You getting that bitterness?
Not yet. I'm getting, it's like almost almond, like straight almond across the board.
I can get behind a little bit of that almond. It's not pleasant for me though. Like I would never drink this with ice again.
So far, no, I like that. I kind of like it with ice.
I respect that.
He respects it.
Yep, write that
down. You look like you're hurting a little bit.
No, it's gonna be hard to finish this a little bit. I really don't like it with ice. I would say neat water ice. And like ice way down there. I would not drink this with ice.
Man, maybe we're becoming the odd couple because last time we were that was probably our biggest split. Okay, I'm getting a tiny bit of bitterness.
The oak that shows up is not my friend.
But you're not a huge oak fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a hard time discerning oak.
Mm-hmm.
My lips are numb. Like this is hot.
Mm-hmm.
It is hot. I take back what I said. Where it's that hot. It is that hot.
Yeah, I coughed with the ice. Yeah,
I would go water, ice, neat. Neat was not my favorite.
Really? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, but no, this is like one of my and it's been a while since we've talked about it, but I love a complexity in a whiskey because complexity is just it's just what we're doing right now. Where you go, oh, you're getting this. I'm like, oh, it has discussion involved. It's one of those things where you go, my lips are numb. I can't feel my face when I'm with you, kind of a thing. So this is great. This is a really fun whiskey.
It is. And
it's been a while since we had a fun whiskey.
We had Brian Rapp reach out this week, and he's like, I would love to hear your thoughts against the non-age stated Barrell Seagrass. We didn't have that. But Brian, I know you had one, if not still has one. You still has one. Send it over. I'll
save my dreads and we'll compare it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to. No, I'll try to find some too. Like I've seen some seagrass, like seagrass rye. It's just the rye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a blue and
some of it on
light blue and
media.
green. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I thought we were drinking.
Nope,
because I don't know much of anything.
We're drinking the 16-year.
I just do what Cole tells me.
Yeah,
I fell down the stairs.
Do a flip.
That's how I got that bruise.
Is that a Fight Club reference?
No, it's just a domestic abuse reference. It's probably
cool,
not
yeah.
okay. Yeah, no, it's not cool.
Reminds me of Fight Club where he's at the hospital and he's getting like stitches and he's like, and then Brad Pitt in the background's like, he fell down some stairs, and Edward Norton's like, I fell down some stairs. It's so good.
I like the ice. It is good.
Oh, that's crazy.
Good
Chuck Palahniuk, yeah. Mm-hmm. How do you pronounce it?
I say Palahniuk.
I say Palahniuk.
He
was. I saw him on a podcast. Really cool guy. Seems like and he said in an interview one time that he preferred the movie to his book, which is funny. Like he's like, no, they nailed that movie. Yeah.
He grew up. I don't know. He's
in Idaho.
No, where I grew up in the Tri-Cities, Pasco.
No way.
I don't think he was born there. He might have been raised there. So
that
area. Yeah.
What
Have
a
you
what a
read much?
pro.
Have you read much of his other books?
I saw he had one called Choke. I haven't read that yet, but I read the beginning of Fight Club, and I just loved the style of it. Like I
I will.
loved. It was very similar to the movie. Like it was very segmented, and you could hear the thoughts in his head and stuff like that. Yeah.
He's a very vivid writer, and some
Mhm.
of the stuff he writes about is so disturbing. Like
Oh, really?
there's, my wife will tell you,
Mhm.
I have to finish stuff. Like I will
Totally.
finish stuff if it's horrible, just because I got to
Mhm.
go. Okay, does it get better?
Yeah.
Um, but he is one of the few authors where I'm
Except you
like,
didn't finish Peaky Blinders, but go on. Yeah.
I'm sorry. But
But you
he's a
said that
right.
about Sons of Anarchy. You're like, it got really bad, but you had to finish it.
It was not that good of a show, but I did
But go
finish it.
on. Yeah.
Peaky Blinders, I do want to finish. I do like
Yeah.
Peaky
It's a great
Blinders.
show. I mean, season 6 is coming out soon.
So I probably should. I will get caught up.
Mm-hmm.
But his writing is so vivid and
Mm-hmm.
disgusting at times. Where I'm like, I
Really?
can't. I tapped out on a couple of
Yeah.
his books.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like what? What books?
gosh, I can't remember titles right now. It's been for I kind of stopped reading his stuff because
Yeah.
I had to tap out on a
Like
couple.
sexually or like what?
No, I can't remember the name of the book, but there's one where this person gathers all these authors into a complex
Uh-huh.
and has to tell them we're going to write the world's greatest story, and
Yeah.
then he traps them in there, and just awful stuff happens.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I can't
That's
remember the
better.
name of it,
Yeah.
but he's a great author, good author.
Yeah, he's definitely got a style, and I personally loved reading Fight Club, or at least half of it, the first half of it. I need to finish it. I think I still
He
have it in
evokes
this house.
visceral responses.
Yeah, and that's what you get from like watching the movie Fight Club, is like and it's very, like I said, segmented. It's like there's portions where it'll like cut really quick to another scene, and that's kind of how the book feels, and I really appreciated that. And I saw the movie before I read the book, but one of the funny things I realized about Fight Club, Marla Singer, the female lead, or not the female lead, like the female supporting, so I felt like Helena Bonham Carter wasn't a good fit for it, even though she was great in the movie.
My same feelings about what's her face playing Hermione.
Hermione. You don't like what's her name?
No, I do. I just being dumb.
People love whatever her name is, Emma Watson. People, especially women. Women think she's like the classiest woman in the industry. Ask any woman, they'll be like, "Who do you wish you were as a 20-something-year-old?" And they'll be like,
I wish I was
Watson.
Emma Watson.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But anyway, Marla Singer in Fight Club was very much described in the book, as far as I remember, as much more of a like genuinely obvious, beautiful woman. When in the movie, I like Helena Bonham Carter, but she's not like this stunner. Like she's kind of quirky more than anything. And
well, I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Wait, do you think Helena Bonham Carter is like gorgeous?
I think she plays, and not knowing the book, I think she plays a pretty lady a beautiful woman who has psychiatric issues.
But do you actually like? Because my beholder is saying like Helena Bonham Carter is like quirky more than she is beautiful. Are you saying she's beautiful in some way?
I think she plays someone with psychiatric issues.
Yeah, I'm
very
with you
well.
There. Like she nails it in that way.
It's kind of like she's all that, where it's like, okay, well, if I could take her and give her a makeover and get her off of drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Great movie though. Great movie.
It is a great movie.
Yeah. I was listening to that podcast, and they talked about some of the improv lines in it, and they talked about her, and I'm not going to mention I shouldn't even have brought this up because one of her quotes is like very dirty. But she mentioned that quote basically after she was with Brad Pitt's character, and they were like, "Yep, that was completely improv, and it was just a keeper in that movie." So anyway,
all right, yeah, cool. Are you looking at our timestamp?
I had to pour some.
Let's do it.
We need to
We
move
got to
on.
do a quick rating.
I had to pour
What's your
some
rating?
neat pour again because I really didn't like the ice. But my rating is going to be a 9+ for sure. I would put this at a 9.4 probably. Fantastic. Really good nose on the neat pour. Like if I'm just focusing on the neat pour, really good nose in terms of that nice hard candiness. The palate is full of complexity. The finish is amazing. One of the best ryes I've ever had. Loved it. 9.4, which is the highest rating I've given in a long time.
It is. Well, you've given some 9s lately. I'm going to go solid 9. Like, I like it. It's complex. Is it my favorite? No, it's not my favorite. Not what I expected in a rye, but I love the fact that it's got a lot going on. So that's where I'm at, 9.0.
I love that.
All right. So we move over to what whiskey, or our favorite segment. What whiskey would you choose?
Bring
No,
it on.
World Whiskey World News.
Whiskey World, what would you choose?
All right, and we're back. It's part of the show that we like to call Whiskey World News. We read an article, we talk about it, we didn't write it, we just read it. And this is going to go down as probably, it already is our longest episode ever. I can almost guarantee it because
maybe not beyond the Matt Porter episode or the Grease episode.
We did go,
but no
long.
guest episode.
But just, because we're already at like 50-ish minutes.
Yeah.
And not only that, but this is the longest consecutively recorded episode as well. We took a pause Thursday evening, and it's now Saturday morning.
We're wearing different shirts now.
We are. Mine's gray. I think I was wearing a gray shirt on Thursday.
Mine was yellow.
Yeah. Yours was yellow. Yeah. I tell you what, now I feel like we got to get back into the because it's actually a time in between talking. I feel like I could be like, hey, here's a fun story.
I thought the same thing. Like, how you doing lately, Robbie?
Oh man, I do want to tell you something.
Please.
This morning. I was talking to Finley, and I was sitting on the couch and had my cup of coffee, and I had like my phone in my hand. So my hands are full, and she goes to do like this double knee jump onto Daddy. Hits me like goes right towards my crotch. So I kind of move it. Didn't get a good crotch shot because of like I protected with the legs. But then I spilled coffee all over myself, and I like had a kid lay in my lap. The joys of fatherhood, you know.
And Finley learned how funny it was.
Well, she's our sensitive one. I was like, "Hey, whoa, no, you can't do that." And she's like, "You don't love me."
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah.
No, I still love you.
I love you very much. We just don't give Daddy crotch shots when he's holding hot coffee. All right. Anyway, part of the show, read an article, we talk about it. Here we go. This one comes from Consequence, but it's all over the internet this week. It said Metallica unveil Ride the Lightning whiskey offer free download only full Ride the Lightning performance by Spencer Kaufman. The whiskey was crafted while utilizing low hertz frequencies from Metallica's music to vibrate the barrels. Metallica's blackened whiskey line has unveiled its latest concoction. They cleverly titled Ride the Lightning. The limited edition liquor was crafted using sonic vibrations from Metallica's only full album live performance of their classic 1984 album, Ride the Lightning. Ride the Lightning is a 90-proof Kentucky straight rye double cask finished whiskey that has the notes of a dried fig, hay, pine wood. Hay just makes me think of
what was that? The alfalfa.
Floki.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I can get a hay note. Pine wood, pear, and rum cake on the nose. And on the palate, clover, honey, mint, corn husk, sugarcane, walnut, and cinnamon. Just like the previous Black and American whiskey editions, the liquor was crafted utilizing the company's trademark black noise sonic enhancement process, which uses the low hertz frequencies from Metallica's music to vibrate the barrels. And I'm going to go ahead and stop there. But Cole, any thoughts on Ride the Lightning?
Here we go again. with I don't know. I'd rather talk about I don't know. I just think it's gimmicky. And we've talked about this before. I'm curious though, Robbie. Are you a Metallica fan to any extent?
Yeah, I enjoy Metallica.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite song of theirs?
Oh man, I go back and forth, and I used to dislike it, but now I'm back. I've really been. I listened to Hero of the Day quite a bit.
Oh, that's such a good one, actually.
Yeah, and I didn't really care for
the really low, like almost a acoustic-y start to it.
Tried to break me.
Oh, it's so good. That would be up there in my top 3 easily for them.
Now I wouldn't say all time. That's definitely not my all time favorite, but that's one of their songs I've been enjoying lately. I do really like Ride the Lightning. It is a great album. Or the album Justice for All is great too.
I need to get more into them. I only know their hits and then a few.
Mhm.
But one of my favorites, I don't know if you ever heard it. It's kind of I don't know if it's like a studio song, but it is a live song. They did it with the San Francisco like Philharmonic or something
Yeah.
like that. And it's One Leaf Clover or No Leaf Clover. Way off. No Leaf Clover.
Well,
And,
they're getting a little more optimistic these days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
we're
more
playing with
left.
the Philharmonic for crying out loud. That's got to
Yeah.
count for One Leaf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
No,
it counts for
Metallica always
something.
reminds me of high school, riding around in John Radford's white Astro minivan
Nice.
on weekends, and we would play "Seek and Destroy," and
That's so
and
funny.
we would ride up to people, and we'd have our butts hanging out, and someone would slide the sliding door open. There'd be 3 full moons,
That's
and we called that
so
"Seek and Destroy."
good.
We'd seek, yeah, and
That beats my stories of riding around listening to music on loud.
Well, I think I've told the story on the podcast, and one time when we were doing it, and we drove by a Taco John's drive-through lane, and we had like full moons.
Wow.
And
You've never told this story.
And there was a cop in the drive-through line.
Oh.
And so I think it was me and three
Book
other guys
it.
were mooning, and so he like whoop whoop, and the guy in front of him, the whole line saw it, and the guy in front of him pulls out, so he pulls out, and he comes flying and gets the. And he's like, I saw 2 butts. Whose butts were they?
You're like, those 2 guys.
Yeah, well, he's like the 2 guys like that were sitting in the predominant spot got nailed with it. And Phil,
You didn't?
I probably shouldn't say their names. I shouldn't have said their. Well, no, I didn't.
You never said their names.
I did say one of their names. I don't know if they want their names.
Well, he was the driver, so
Fielding is not a real person. Anyway, and they had to go to court and stuff. Yeah.
When I was in high school,
that was Seek and Destroy.
Yeah, when do you know the song Lee Greenwood's "Proud to Be an American"?
Yeah.
When
I know I'm free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so we would drive through Radnor, Pennsylvania. Upper middle class, like Radnor, Pennsylvania, and we would just blast that song. And we like I didn't even know, like, we just thought it was the funniest thing ever. And like the best part was when at the end he's like the final like chorus, and he's like, and I proudly stand up next to you. And it's like every time I listen to that song, like if it's like for 4th of July or something like that, we like pause like until the cymbal hits, you're like, and I proudly stand up. It's so good. And we would blast that driving through town, me and my friend Corey and Christian.
Who sings that again?
Lee Greenwood.
Lee Greenwood. When's Lee Greenwood gonna have his own whiskey?
That I would wait.
Does he have one? I have no idea who he is.
Wait, I want to say he did.
No.
I'm gonna look this up. You keep talking.
All right. Well, I don't think we talked about this, but going back to that Barrell Seagrass, it's got a beautiful color of finished terracotta tile.
Dude, he's got a freaking whiskey. Like, so it's perfect. This is the perfect finish to a Whiskey World News. So Lee Greenwood,
we knew
this was last year.
Okay.
Lee Greenwood and Soldier Valley Spirits add vodka and whiskey to Lee Greenwood's signature spirits line of products. God bless America.
Oh, is there a gin in there?
No,
is it just vodka?
That's not American.
There's an American style gin.
Oh, that's true.
You can say, because they call it proud to be an American style gin.
Oh man, this is great.
Yeah, I didn't realize we knew what we were talking about.
We never know what we're talking about.
Perfect. Yeah. It worked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So should we go to the next segment?
Yeah,
I feel like that's the exclamation point on it.
We've been talking about rye and Lee Greenwood.
Well, that's not the next segment, Cole.
That's true.
The next segment is what whiskey would you choose?
Well, we got to give the results first. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You like to jump the gun. I like that about you. All right. So last week we talked about what's your favorite non-Kentucky bourbon. Cole went with Breckenridge bourbon out of Colorado.
That's right.
I went with Bowman Small Batch. Although I guess we're talking kind of is, kind of isn't, right?
A little bit. It's a half.
No.
Semi.
It's a mudblood. And I won with that one 35 to 65%.
That's great.
Had some good write-ins. And
we did. Yeah.
Oh man. Bryce Marita, B_side, went with Silverback.
Nice.
And he gave me some of the silverback bourbon a while back. It's
He's-
gone
he-
now,
we,
but
no,
it
we
was
still
delicious.
have the corn.
We do have the
option
corn,
on our shelf.
but he sent me the bottle.
That's
as
right,
well.
the full bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a pro! What a freaking pro!
What a you're not see now. It's been a couple of days. Cole's transitioned from his large glass hole, and he's back to a regular stemmed.
Well, no,
fancy
my
man
large glass hole was the was my entry buzz.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then Nathan Anthony, Smoke Wagon,
Nice.
Delish.
Good choice. Yeah.
Madtown marketer Ben Klepsig, Kings County peated bourbon.
Good
and
stuff.
We have that one slated.
Should drink that soon.
I want to drink that soon.
Let's put that on. Maybe not this next week's, but maybe the week after.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Fish and Sips went with Wyoming whiskey bourbon, unique, affordable, and tasty. I have not had any of Wyoming, but with that stellar recommendation, I'll buy a bottle. It is cheap, and I can find it fairly frequently. I think it's on the shelf all the time.
Wyoming.
Yep. Dramhound, Mayor Pingree Black Label 13-year, but most aged MGP source bourbon would work.
True.
Okay.
Especially
I've never even heard of Mayor Pingree.
I have.
Yeah. Okay. Kilted 518 Miles Ferguson. I immediately thought of something from A. Smith Bowen. Both of you sounded like you were too. Yeah, we were. We did.
Both.
Yeah. And then Embellish Pod, friggin' John Hughes. Remus Repeal Reserve Bourbon 5 or V. Or U if you're doing their whole Roman.
Yeah. I'm into that.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get into next week, is that all, everyone?
That's it. Yeah, that's all the write-ins.
Before we get into next week's, I did want to give a shout out.
Okay.
To another friend of ours who sadly has lost his father.
Oh no.
And that was Jerome Edwards. So big shout out, big condolences shout out. It's hard to deal with. I know, Robbie, you've dealt with that. And Miles, one of our top listeners, has also dealt with that recently.
I didn't even realize that. I got to reach out to Jerome. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, you are in our thoughts and prayers, Jerome.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
We appreciate your support. So, yep. And you can't transition well, especially when kids are yelling in the background. But let's transition over to, we were, in Whiskey World News, we were talking about Rise and Lee Greenwood, and Lee Greenwood doesn't have anything to do with this week's, but we talked about last week, what is your favorite bourbon outside of Kentucky? Now we're going to talk about Rise, because yes, Rise are not known to be number one in Kentucky, but a lot of distillers that make rye are still in Kentucky. One of my favorite is Willet for your rye. So I can't count that. What is your favorite rye, Robbie, outside of Kentucky?
Did you see what I did with my name this week?
Well,
Rye. We're drinking rye.
Drinking a rye, yeah.
We were drinking a rye.
Technically, this could count, but I bet you there's at least one Kentucky rye in this. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go.
Or no, it's from Louisville to begin with, so go on.
So I can guarantee you're probably going to win this one, because it's a similar thing to last week. I went with a bourbon that is more widely available, more people have had, and you went with a bourbon that is probably less available if you're like near away from the Rockies. So I'm going to go with Crater Lakes. I think it's called Reserve Rye, and it is super cheap. It's like $25, and it's got every like cinnamony kind of note that I like in it. So that would be mine. What about you? I love it.
So I was thinking, I was like, man, what am I going to go with? Like they're like Michter's, even though they say they're like a Pennsylvania, they're not a Pennsylvania, they're like Kentucky. And I immediately thought of one, and I was like, oh, that's it. So I'm not going to go in the continental U.S. Not even the U.S. I'm going to Canada.
That's what I was thinking.
And I'm going to go with Lot 40 Cask Strength edition number 1. Let's say that.
Oh, see, okay. Even just Lot 40 in general.
Yeah,
like they're standard rye. Yeah, really good. I like that.
It's great rye.
He's delicious.
100% rye mash. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we got. And then feel free to write in, guys. I'm sure there'll be some much better answers than we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So any other thoughts before we close it out, Robbie?
No. What are we going to drink next week?
Oh, let's talk about that. So next week we are between Minor Case Rye, which is North or Pacific Northwest.
I don't know. I'll have to look.
Yeah, we'll have it by Two Pick Tuesday. We'll know what it's about. And then the other one we could drink is what was it again?
Rittenhouse.
Oh, Rittenhouse. Kind of a
Yeah.
standard, a classic, especially for cocktails. Something you'll hear about all the time. So you want something that's the standard or something that's a little one-off. They're both rise. They're both entry pricing.
Right the heck not.
What's that?
Why not?
Why not, baby? Let's not hope it doesn't go awry, but it will go awry because those are the only two options.
My daughter's going to come busting in again like a rhinoceros.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I know Rye because you're such a good daddy that she wants to hang out with.
You are right.
All right, guys. Well, I hope, Robby,
that never happens again.
Oh, wow. All right, Robby.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you meant?
I did.
Yeah.
I thought that
Okay, cool.
you just
I like that. Yeah, I finished it strong. I hope that that our listeners just had a good time and just are ready to come back. And if this is one of their first 3 episodes listening to, I hope they give it at least 4 episodes, and they'll be hooked. They'll be freaking hooked.
I hope that you continue to do your outro hopings in the fashion of pastor who's preaching for the first time, talking to his congregation. That's what it reminded me of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How do you? Never mind. We won't finish. Not a digression during the hopes. Anyway, I hope that you, Robby, have a great week, and I hope our listeners have a great week.
But most of all, Cole, I hope our love of spirits, whiskey, lifted theirs with spirits of whiskey.
Meanwhile, Finley's like, Toddler, I barely know her.